Everybody, welcome to Buzz Live. There we go. Very nice. My name is Michael Hemphill. I'm the creator and host of the TV show Buzz that airs every Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. on Blue Ridge PBS, where we feature in each episode the incredible work that nonprofit organizations do in our communities. Now, I launched Buzz in 2020, having spent nearly 20 years at that time working for various nonprofits and seeing up close and personal the amazing work that these life-giving organizations do. And now my introduction to nonprofit life happened about in 2003 when I had just started volunteering for this little nonprofit in my hometown of eastern Montgomery County in Virginia. And our group of volunteers had very little money and probably even less experience at that time. But there was one organization that was willing to believe in us and awarded us our very first grant, the very first grant that I was ever a part of, and that was the Community Foundation of the New River Valley. Yeah, that deserves an applause. So what an incredible honor it is for me to be here on this stage at the historic Lyric Theater here in Blacksburg, helping kick off the Community Foundation's 12th annual Give Local NRV Day. Applause. Now, there are 121 different nonprofits participating in this day of giving, and we invite you who are here in the audience, as well as those tuning into our live streams on Facebook or YouTube, to go to GiveLocalNRV.org and donate to your favorite nonprofit or nonprofits. If you want to find out more about the work that I do through Buzz for Good, you can go to my website, buzzforgood.com, or follow me on social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, even TikTok, all at Buzz for Good. Now, today on Buzz Live, we are going to bring to the stage 15 of those 121 nonprofits so they can share more about their missions and what they are raising money for here on Give Local NRV. And as we like to do on Buzz Live, which I humbly call the Tonight Show for Nonprofits, we also have two musical guests who will be performing: the Montgomery County chapter of Junior Appalachian Musicians, or MJAM, and Handmade Music School out of Floyd County. Yes, applause. Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. You are welcome to applaud at any time. Now, our first guests here on the stage will be the illustrious Jessica Wirgo and Lindsay Gleason-Reed of the Community Foundation of the New River Valley, who are here at our Command Central monitoring all of the donations that are coming in here at the start of Give Local NRV Day, which ends tomorrow, June 26th at 12 noon. I believe we are already close to $500,000. Is that correct? $500,000 already in gifts. So what is our goal? Now, they don't have a goal, all right? I am going to just throw a goal out there into the ether. Now, I don't put on a tuxedo for just $500,000, okay? I don't put on a tuxedo for $750,000. This is my $1 million tux, okay, folks? Yeah, right? So we need to raise $1 million by this time tomorrow. And I hope that all of you here and all of those of you tuning in will make that happen, okay? We're already almost halfway there. So another 24 hours, we should be able to do this, all right? So please, let's go, folks. All right. With that, though, I know that this community can raise $1 million because 2 years ago, the first time that Buzz featured Give Local NRV Day on our TV show, we almost got to $1 million, as you can see here in this clip.
Jess, man, somebody just dropped in a $47,000 check for all come-ons.
Oh, holy crap.
Oh my God. Good luck with your interview.
Thank you. I understand you guys are going to be watching it, so I hope I represent y'all well, but
you will.
If not, hey, it's over, so.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, she's slow, and confirmed.
Wow! $374,000 over our goal.
I mean,
we did it, you guys. We did it! We did it! We did it, babe!
That's not the right
Do it again. Do it again.
Refresh, right?
Yeah.
Refresh.
Whoa!
What?
Wow. Wow.
What?
What?
Whoa! What happened? What happened?
Wow.
Whoa! Big money! Big money!
I think that's more than 500,000. Can anyone do the math on that?
That is more than 500,000.
What? Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I can't believe Jess is in Roanoke for this. I'm happy she's there, but I wish she was here right now.
Yes!
What?
All right, well, let's watch her.
How does it feel? It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Our original goal was $500,000.
Oh, they-
We hit that goal within a few
She
hours of
doesn't know.
starting
She
the
doesn't
team
know.
yesterday. But to see it grow to this level, it's beyond any of us anticipated. It feels amazing. I mean, my team at the Community Foundation, I understand they're watching us right now. It was so exciting to see individual organizations really come out of nowhere and raise a lot of money. I don't think any of us anticipated that it was going to be this far over the goal for this year, or that in the past 10 years we've raised well over $3 million for nonprofits. It's huge, and we're just so proud to be a part of it.
Oh man, I wish Jess was here. I don't know how she's gonna drive back after. Oh, here she is. She is. Oh! Jess?
Yeah.
Did you check?
Oh my God.
Did you check the website? It's not 800. It's 921,000.
Check this out! Check this out! Check it out!
Can you see that?
Holy cow.
Right?
I thought I just checked it, and it was like 825, and I'm like, oh, that's great. Oh my gosh. Holy cow.
Right?
So did Michael like film that ending and all that stuff?
Yeah, Michael's filming right now.
All right, everybody, please welcome to the stage here Jessica Wirgo and Lindsay Gleason-Reed with the Community Foundation.
Hey,
That was a great moment.
it was super fun. I mean,
And-
we have a lot of fun on this.
Well,
General.
and yes, and obviously we can get to $1 million. That's not your goal. I don't want to put any pressure, but I mean, we can do this, right?
I mean, if you say so.
I am saying so, all right?
Okay.
So let's make it happen, folks. All right, so this is the 12th year. You launched this back in 2014?
Yeah, 2014.
Okay, what was the inspiration behind this Giving Day?
So we had heard about some other foundations in Virginia doing giving days, and we thought, okay, well, this is kind of a cool idea. I'll note that every foundation that was doing a giving day was way larger than we were, both assets, staff size, everything. But we've always felt like we needed to do more than just the grants we give out to nonprofits. So we wanted to be able to create a tool where people could give online, and organizations could kind of work together to create marketing and buzz for the work that they do.
Thank you
So
for the
we
plug.
decided, you're welcome. So we decided to kind of give it a try in 2014, and obviously it's snowballed since then.
Yeah, and to date, not counting this year, how much has been raised for New River Valley nonprofits through GiveLocalNRV Day?
$4.35 million.
4.35 million. Yep. Bravo. Now, y'all make it look so easy, but I know that a lot of community foundations, much larger than the one here in the New River Valley, launch giving days and no longer do giving days. Give people who are here and tuning in just a little bit of an appreciation for how much work goes into this day. So that, I mean, y'all deserve huge applause for this.
Thanks. Yeah, this becomes all-consuming in June, which is exciting and can be a little overwhelming, but with all 121 organizations participating this year, we're providing trainings in person and online, fielding lots of phone calls and emails, lots of tutorials over Zoom. But what I love about it is kind of the point person on the project, but it's a whole team effort, is I get to hear all about the great things that y'all are doing, and I get to cheer you all on. When I say that we've raised $4.35 million through this event, it's the big ol' we. It's thousands, literally thousands of people who have donated to this event, and how many hundreds of people at our nonprofit partners working every single day throughout the month of June during the early giving period. It's extraordinary. It's a true community effort, and it's just such a bright spot every June.
Love it. All right, we're going to be hearing from you here over the command center all during the show. But we have one new little prize that we're offering this year, and that is a video contest. So let's talk about how that is working. All right?
Sure. So, I mean, because of your generous idea, Michael came to us with the idea of we've done video prizes for the Giving Day before. So this year, whoever submits the best 30-second video is going to win an episode of Buzz Live.
That's right. Buzz Live will be coming to the nonprofit at a time and date per the nonprofit's wishes, where we can go and feature the great work that nonprofit does. And we will announce the winner of that video contest at the end of the show after you've had a chance to watch all of them. And actually, we're going to watch one right now as we transition to our next guest, Springhouse. We're going to watch a video presented by the Junebug Center. So, Rob.
The Junebug Center in Floyd, Virginia is a nonprofit dedicated to bringing arts and STEAM education to kids in rural Appalachia. We offer programs in theater, dance, music, robotics, and coding. And thanks to community support, we're able to provide free instruments, costumes, and supplies, so no child is left out because of cost. This Give Local, your gift isn't just a donation, it's a door opening to confidence, to creativity, to a future they never thought possible. Donate today and be a part of that moment.
Okay, yeah, that's some applause. So that's the Junebug Center, another Floyd County nonprofit, because Springhouse is also based in Floyd County. And we have here with us Carolyn Riley, who is the development director? Correct. All right, and Carolyn, would you mind introducing Ambrose to us?
Sure. I'm also a parent of a teen at Springhouse and 2 alumni. So I hold various roles. Yeah, I am all into this learning community. And with us is Ambrose, and he is entering the 10th grade this year. And I forgot how old you are, but I'll let you share anything else that you want to share. 14, yeah.
So Ambrose, talk about your experience at Springhouse.
Thank you. I have just finished up my 3rd year at Springhouse with this past school year, and it has been so incredibly powerful, and it's really changed my life. I think I started in 2022, and since then I've just had this space to grow as a person and discover more about who and what I am, and also how to take care of myself and the people around me and the earth. And
wonderful,
yeah.
Wonderful. Well, share with us, either one of you, what is the mission of Springhouse, and what makes Springhouse a different type of educational institution from other schools in Floyd County?
Yeah, well, Springhouse is an intergenerational, vitality-centered learning community, and we focus on moving towards a world where all life thrives, and taking care of each other, and building community, and being able to kind of reimagine education. And
Intergenerational, so talk about that. So it's not just other 10th graders there, but people of all ages?
Yeah, we have an elementary and a middle school, and we also work with elders in the community in internships and classes and community events. We have community meals where anyone is welcome to join.
How lovely. And what are y'all raising money for today?
So we've been raising money all month. We actually have $115,000 that we've raised, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
Thank you so much to all the support that we've received. And we have transformed our fundraising energy towards this month of June. We have been participating in Give Local, or when it used to be Give Big, since the very beginning. And so we focus all of our energy in our fundraising for this month, and we utilize in our community to spread the word and network while not centering money as our need, but centering the gift of being alive and in community together and creating a culture that really takes care of life one person at a time and one community at a time. And that includes our global community that's connected to us through adult programs, as we are intergenerational. Yeah.
y'all crushed this competition. It's not a competition, but it kind of is a competition. But y'all crush this competition every single year. I was a part of a different organization's Giving Day in Roanoke for many years through the school that I would happen to be marketing and development director with. And yeah, given the incentive prizes that are part of the Giving Day, we shifted kind of the year-end giving to that particular Giving Day to be better suited for and eligible for those prizes. And it's a smart strategy. I guess that might be a lesson that you might share not with others who are here as far as, what makes you so successful and having been so successful with this Giving Day?
Well, again, as I said, we don't center money at all in what we do at the school. We do know that we need resources to continue and to keep going, and one of those resources is, of course, money and physical resources like a place to be and learn together in an intergenerational community. So that, to me, feels like a priority. And because we honor the gift of being alive and our connection as human beings, we empower our entire community to share their story and the impact that we have had, that our learning community, our school has had in their lives. And just sharing the story is powerful. As you know, you are a storyteller. And that really just uplifts the individual and shows the connectedness that we all share and brings in the support.
Beautiful. Yeah, nonprofits, you got to have a great story. So thank y'all so much. Congratulations so far on a great day. Hope y'all will keep on going because we got to get everybody to $1 million.
Yes.
So we're counting on you.
Keep it up.
All
Thank
right.
you so much,
Yes.
CFNRV. Too.
Everybody, Springhouse. And as we transition to our next guest, which will be YMCA at Virginia Tech, we're going to share the video contribution from Smithfield Plantation.
Historic Smithfield represents the legacy of the indigenous people who cared for the land and called it home for thousands of years before any English speakers stepped foot on its beautiful ridge. It represents the legacy of the Fraction family and all of the other enslaved families who built this country through the work of their hands and their achievements in the face of oppression. And it represents the legacy of the Preston family, who stood shoulder to shoulder with the United States Founding Fathers as they led the way to today's America.
All right. That was Smithfield Plantation. And here we have another great Blacksburg-based nonprofit, and that is the YMCA at Virginia Tech. And with us, we have the CEO, Ryan Martin, and board treasurer, Jim Lawrence. All right, who is who?
I'm Ryan.
Okay.
This is Jim.
Great. Great to see y'all. Thank you all so much for being here. Now, having known a little bit about the YMCA at Virginia Tech through the years, it is like no other YMCA in the country. You don't go there to work out. You don't go there to swim. What do you go to the YMCA at Virginia Tech for?
Yeah, so we're one of only 6 campus YMCAs in the United States. And we're really different in that we focus on college student leadership development, helping them get off campus into the community and finding ways to become civically engaged, culturally minded, and running all the nonprofit outreach organizational programs that we have so that they're getting real-world experience in fields that they want to go into in the future while making a difference in the community for our neighbors right here.
And how can the community get involved? If you're not a college student, what are the various ways that the community can get involved with the YMCA at Virginia Tech?
Sure. So we don't have memberships like other YMCAs do, so we don't have that income stream. We really do rely on volunteer support. So the college students help to organize those things, but we really need community support coming in and volunteering with us too. So there are always lots of opportunities to get involved, whether you're an individual or a group, to run lots of our different programs, whether it's after-school programming, sustainability initiatives, working on food insecurity and getting meals out to low-income families. There's always an opportunity to get involved and volunteer with us.
Thrift shop?
Thrift shop, absolutely. We love the thrift shop. It's one of our key sustainability projects in the community, diverting lots of waste from the landfill and really making it a low-price option for individuals that are on a budget that need still lots of good things.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's the best thrift shop in the New River Valley.
You don't have to say that.
I don't want to
wink.
say that. I'll let you determine that and figure that out for yourselves, but it is a phenomenal place.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all that you guys do. Now, what are you raising money for specifically today?
I'm going to let Jim talk about that.
All right.
He's the treasurer. And
Yes, I'm the treasurer, and we are, we're doing okay, but we need money. We need to continue. A little story about me. I've been on the board for about 10 years now, and I'm the treasurer. But my second time, this is my second time. First time I was on the board in early 2000s, and the first time I was with the Y was in 1971 as a senior here at Tech. That was I was a tutor, volunteer tutor. So I've been volunteering for a long time.
Since 1971.
I'm a Y guy, yes.
Applause, please. 1971.
I have been alive for half of the time that the YMCA at Virginia Tech has been alive. so I cannot imagine the NRV without the YMCA at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
And so we are raising funds to continue to thrive into the future, to survive now and into the future. And thank you for this opportunity and this stage to be a part of and to get the word out. So thank you.
Absolutely. YMCA at Virginia Tech, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. You said it all. Okay, and it is time for our very first musical guest today. So let's get the Pine Noodles up here. The Pine Noodles. Sorry, noodlers, not noodles. That sounded odd. Sorry. Knew that. The Pine Noodlers are here from Floyd County, and they are members and are taught at the Handmade Music School, a fabulous nonprofit, and I'm going to let them perform, and then we'll talk to their leaders. Pine Noodlers, take it away.
Hello, everyone. We are the Pine Noodlers, and we're from the Handmade Music School, and we're going to play a song called John Brown's Dream.
Right. The Pine Noodlers, ladies and gentlemen. All the way from Floyd County and the Handmade Music School. And with us, we have two of the leaders of Handmade Music School. We've got Dylan Locke and his wife, Heather Krantz. Welcome to you both. So, amazing. I'm sure y'all had a little bit to do with it, a little bit. But your goals with Handmade Music School, it's not just to teach these kids how to play a particular instrument and make notes out of the instrument. What are the deeper lessons that you're trying to inspire?
Well, our mission is to cultivate and build community through music, dance, art, and food through our Appalachian traditions. And so really we're building and taking care of community. Is what we're doing. We just get to do it through the traditions from our area, our mountain music, our dancing, our singing. There's many traditions that we do that through, and it's really, really rewarding for us, obviously. So.
Yeah. You want to add anything?
Yeah. I mean, this is a program that's affiliated with the Floyd Country Store, and there's some deep traditions that have been happening around Southwest Virginia that we love to celebrate. And so there's kind of two things. We get to sort of keep those traditions alive so that what happens around Floyd County and all of Southwest Virginia thrives. And the other one is music is a really beautiful thing for young people to get involved in, or people of all ages. It's just really wonderful for people to sort of find their creative voice and gain confidence, and as they connect and collaborate, they really develop, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
We know there are a lot of traditions that have gone by the wayside, some probably for good reasons and others not so good. What is it about the traditions that you are trying to cultivate or instill and inspire others to learn about? What is it about like the Appalachian culture that still resonates today?
Well, there's the music and dance. That's something that's really unique for us. Is music isn't, we love theaters where people sit and watch people play, but what happens in our community is that it's interactive. And so that's a really beautiful thing, is to sort of see the dance floor, see people dance together who don't even know each other, sort of demonstrating that kind of tradition and just sort of a community taking care of itself and welcoming people in and accepting them for who they are. And that's just a thing that we want our young people and all people in this world to just sort of be accepting and sort of be together and have fun together and keep it simple. And music and dance and art and food.
Yes.
These are all things that help us do that.
Yeah, and we need so much more of that, especially these days. So thank you all so much for being here and all the work you do, and we will look forward to having the Pine Noodlers back on stage here in just a few minutes. But Dylan and Heather, thank you all so much for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us, and thanks to the Community Foundation.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Well, speaking of the Community Foundation, let's make sure that's on, and let's see. We got some updates back there from Command Central on how GiveLocalNRV is going.
The update from...
Nope. The green light on? Okay.
Oh, there it is. So update from Command Central is that my computer seems to be doing some kind of death spiral. So, but the grant total, we're nearly at 500,000 from almost 2,000 donors, which is pretty extraordinary.
Wow. Almost 500,000, which is almost halfway to my goal of $1 million. All right, don't make me regret putting on this tuxedo, folks, okay? So please go to GiveLocalNRV.org and make your contribution now. As we prepare for our next guest, which will be the Calfee Center, we do have a little video that they submitted for our video competition. So Rob, take it away.
Amari is a student at the Harmon Learning Center and part of a proud legacy. He has family who once walked the halls of the historic Calfee Training School. Today, his family is helping build our African American Heritage Center and will benefit from new features at the revitalized Calfee Center, including the Venable Digital Lab, the Huckstep Kitchen, the Broadno Baker Hall, the Sankofa Walk, and our 2 natural outdoor play spaces. Support families like Amari's by donating today by mail or online.
All right, yep, applause for the Calfee Center. And with us today, we have the Executive Director, Jill Williams, and Board Chair, Mickey Hickman. Welcome.
Thank you.
So you're raising funds today for the Calfee Center's present and future. But for those who may not know about Calfee Center, what is its past? Why is its past so significant?
Yeah. I actually attended Calfee Training School from 1954 to 1962 as a student there.
Were
it
you
was
like
a
2 years old?
No, I'm a little older than
Okay, all right.
But it was a segregated school when in my early childhood and early teen years, segregation was the rule of law in those days.
Right.
And so when this project was born, that building beckoned to me.
Yeah, so the building survived desegregation because like many formerly African-American schools, segregated schools, those buildings did not survive. And so you have this space that's still there for the community to gather. Before we move to the present, though, I would love to know, like, what made Calfee so special in your world?
I would have to say that I've had a successful life. Earned 3 degrees. I had a sensational foundation in education from those teachers that taught at Calfee Training School. And that wasn't always the case. That wasn't always the stories for some segregated schools, but that was the case for Calfee. And I owe them the fact I was able to do school no matter where I went to school. And it was because of the foundation they gave me. One thing to add about that building, the original Calfee Training School burned down. There's a story, there's a history behind that. And so we got a brand new building in 1939. And it's a beautiful building, and that is part of the story. That's why we can make it a phoenix and rebirth it from the ashes.
I love it. So several years ago, Buzz, we did a 2-part episode on the Christiansburg Institute, which is a similar model. It was formerly founded in 1866 for newly freed slaves, and it operated until 1966 when desegregation finally took hold. And it was a preeminent institution for African Americans, not only in Southwest Virginia, but all throughout Virginia and up and down the East Coast. And what I found so tragic, having interviewed many alumni like yourself who graduated from there or were attending there when their school shut down, was that the education that they received at Christiansburg Institute was far superior to what they got once they were integrated into the, quote, whites-only schools previously. And what a tragedy that was, because they all said, we had the better schools, why was our school closed down? You know, and that's inevitably the case. You know, you had it wasn't the white schools that were closed down and white students sent to formerly African-American schools. It was always the other way around. And so much of that cultural history and pride was lost during that. So I'm so glad that y'all are keeping that history alive. Let's move forward to the present and the future. What are you raising money for right now to help with this restoration?
Sure. Well, let me tell you a little bit about what what the Calfee Center is. Yeah. In 2018, 2 conversations merged in Pulaski. There had been a conversation about the need to expand quality childcare, and there had, of course, been a conversation about the need to restore the building and the remarkable history associated with the Calfee Training School. And with a small grant from the Community Foundation, we were able to convene a community conversations visioning process about what otherwise could be done in this 15,000 square foot building. Yep. So our board, which is comprised of a majority alumni of the school or their descendants, put together these visions and created a plan for a center that would not only include a child care center and a museum, but also a commercial shared use kitchen, a digital learning lab, space for after school programming, and an event hall. So where we are right now, we have an operating child care center. We have 3 classrooms of our eventual 6. And we have a vibrant research team that's working to research all sorts of parts of the history. So what we're raising funds for now are to expand our child care center, to raise the funds to renovate 3 more classrooms, and to produce the exhibit for our museum, the Quiet Courage exhibit.
Wow, wow. What does the final vision look like, and how long will it take to reach it?
Well, another piece update is that we're actually starting construction this summer on that will allow us next year to open our digital lab, to open our museum, to open the space for our after-school program, and to open our expanded shared use commercial kitchen. Wow. So next year we should be able to open all of these things. We hope we'll be able to open these expanded classrooms, and the last thing we have to do is raise funds for our event hall. So that's where we are.
Okay, so GiveLocalNRV, great opportunity to support Calfee Center. So thank you all so much for being here. And as we prepare for our next guest, Brain Injury Solutions, we had a good opportunity at Buzz a few years ago to produce a TV show on brain injury solutions, and I want to play a clip from that episode now.
Hi, I'm Macy Weinberger, and we live in Craig County, Virginia.
Try to make it.
I'm 17. I'm a senior, and I'm about to graduate.
While Word Sprint got to work, I decided to visit some families who have been helped by brain injury services. Families like Sherry Weinberger and her daughter Macy, a seemingly healthy young girl until the age of 6 when she was diagnosed with a brain tumor. A surgery in 2011 removed most of the tumor, but she was left with a traumatic brain injury.
Brain Injury Services has attended the individualized education plan, which is through the school, her plan for the upcoming year. She has been granted funds for camps like Camp Easter Seals that gives her the chance to get away, to be with other special needs people. They found grants to help her to go to Healing Strides, to do therapeutic riding. Macy is an avid horse lover. When Macy first started riding horses, she was only able to sit on the horse for about 5 or 10 minutes. Now Macy can sit through an hour lesson, and that has been a big benefit for her ability to set up straighter, to have a little more balance. It's helped her to walk a little better. Now that she's 17 and moving into the adult world, Brain Injury Services will be helping to give us direction into finding services for her work, for continued therapies, for camps, for her horse riding, which she dearly loves. They are a wealth of knowledge in giving us information for modifications for the home to help assist Macy in being as independent as possible. I hope as Macy becomes an adult to give her as much independence as possible. I hope she can live the fullest life that we can possibly give her. This has been a scary time in our life. We were given this healthy child, and we were thankful that she is physically still very healthy. It's scary. Without Brain Injury Services, we would be floundering.
All right, please join me in welcoming to the stage Alex Barge, who is the Director of Marketing.
Marketing and Development.
And Development at Brain Injury Solutions. So good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing that. We
Well-
had a great experience with Buzz, and we appreciate that. And thank you for having us here for such a wonderful community of people and organizations, and we're just feel fortunate to be just a part of it.
Well, right back at you. So Brain Injury Solutions used to be Brain Injury Services of Southwest Virginia when it was founded in Roanoke.
About 25 years ago.
25 years ago. And over the course of our episode, we were able to bring in our good friends from Word Sprint here in Blacksburg, print marketing agency, and they helped facilitate a rebrand for Brain Injury Services of Southwest Virginia, because that's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful, yeah.
And also their territory had expanded beyond Southwest Virginia at that point.
Sure.
So now they are Brain Injury Solutions. But I do want to talk about your territory here in the New River Valley. And can you describe like the extent of the work that you do? We featured one child from Floyd County in that
That's right.
episode.
Yes.
How many do y'all serve in New River Valley?
We serve about 40, depending on, it comes and goes.
Yeah. So 40 different families, really. It's not just
Correct.
the individual,
Yes.
it's the family
Yep.
support. And talk about kind of the age range, the issues that would have led some people to seek your services.
Sure. We serve all ages, so we serve children and adults. Unfortunately, brain injury knows no boundaries, so it affects all ages, it affects all demographics, all backgrounds, everyone, essentially.
Yeah. So, Brett, like some of these brain injuries might be from birth.
It's true. They're acquired brain injuries, so either from a fall or a car accident or potentially a brain tumor or a stroke. In Virginia, we have 1 in 30 people have a disability from a brain injury. That's not have had a brain injury, that's people who have a disability from a brain injury.
Gotcha. What is one thing, I mean, we're all here, to talk about the money, but, for people who are gathered here or tuning in, what is one thing that you wish everyone here knew about someone who has a brain injury?
Such a great question. If you know one person with a brain injury, then you know one person with a brain injury. I mean, each person is completely different, has completely different needs, has completely different abilities, and even though you may not see it, they may have some challenges there. Someone may have a brain injury who could be completely fine one day, someone who you met who could garden and is wonderful one day, and then the next day have a horrible migraine to the point to where they can barely move. And so each day is completely different, each person is completely different. Yeah.
And are y'all raising money today for general operating support, or is there a particular cause?
Sure, case management services in the New River Valley. So our main service is case management, where basically a social worker meets one-on-one with a survivor of brain injury. We help them identify goals to recovery and help them find the resources to meet those goals.
Yeah, so that case management, it sounds kind of abstract, but it's so important because, like you just said, if you know one person with a brain injury, you know one person with a brain injury, because each person's needs are so unique. So some might need help. Maybe some want to go back to work and just need some special accommodations. Others need help getting to appointments or learning how to reread or learning how to read or speak or so many different issues.
Exactly. You nailed it.
Okay, good. Well, so there we go. All right, so please support Brain Injury Solutions here on Give Local NRV Day. Thank you so much for being here, Alex.
Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Applause, yes. And why don't we take a moment to get an update from our folks here at Command Central. Jess.
Okay, so we have now passed $500,000. We're
Woo! All right.
506,000 and counting. And then you'll see throughout the 24 hours that we have power hours and golden tickets, and these are ways that organizations can focus on a particular hour. And so we are in the kickoff power hour, which is a prize for the most unique donors from 12 to 1 o'clock. So take a look when you go to GiveLocalNRV.org and click on View Leaderboards. You can see all of those, and you could participate in those power hours and see who is going to come out with another $500 at 1 o'clock today.
All right, so folks, you got 10 minutes to be able to qualify for that noontime power hour. So make sure that you reach out to your supporters, and if you are a supporter, make sure that you are tuning in. So next up, we're going to have our good friends from the Blacksburg Refugee Partnership, and by way of introduction, we're going to share a video from another nonprofit competing today, Ride a Rescue. All right, that was Ride a Rescue. And this is the Blacksburg Refugee Partnership with Board President Scott Bailey and Board Vice President Jennifer Pike. Welcome. Thank y'all for being here.
Hi, thank you.
Absolutely. So, you work with refugees. Just how challenging has the last 5 months been with what's coming out of Washington, D.C.?
It's nuts. It's every bit as nuts as you see. People who are already here are afraid. They wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Volunteers are nervous, and we want to bring new families in. That whole mechanism has changed dramatically. Mm-hmm. But I do want to say, families are coming in. We had a
Great.
case just about 2 months ago. We thought it was impossible, but there are narrow paths where they can come in. They tend to come in now much more urgently. So in that case before, we had to get it done right away or it wasn't going to happen. People of Blacksburg stood up. 6 days from when we found out about that family to when we had them here. Donations came in, a volunteer donated a place for them to live, the money to get them into a home, people to help them find jobs, all that happened really fast. So there are narrow pathways, and I would just say the legal expenses have become much more complicated than what they were before. Everything is harder, but it is happening.
Can you share anything just about that particular family, the circumstances? I know not names, of course, but this, what led them to seeking refugee status?
Well, they had been in Afghanistan. Both were lawyers in Afghanistan. And so as part of their job as lawyers, when the U.S. was still there and the Taliban was not in power, they prosecuted people like the Taliban or spouse abusers or things like that. So when the Taliban came into power, they were instantly targeted because of what people they had helped put in prison. Very difficult situation. They were on the run ever since the Taliban took over to where we got to help them a couple months ago. The mom was 8.5 months pregnant when she came here. It was a very difficult and urgent situation. But the part I really want you to get out of that is, as hard as it was, as scared as everybody was, you got to see a town just raise their hand and say, we're going to do this.
Yeah, yeah. How many families are you currently serving?
So currently we are serving 15 families. It's over 60 people. I want to say like 64, okay. 65 individuals.
And what is their country of origin that may have led them to here?
Well, over the 9 years, we have supported people from numerous countries, Burundi, Somalia, Myanmar, mostly Syria and Afghanistan.
Wow. And Blacksburg has stepped up in this case. So what are some of the ways, besides money, obviously, what are some of the ways that folks, not only in Blacksburg, but elsewhere, could help support your work?
Well, Blacksburg is an all-volunteer organization. So the only person we pay is the accountant. So we have tons of volunteers. We have a structure where we have family teams, and they help when a family arrives. They help with all kinds of things. I mean, honestly, the U.S. healthcare system, if we think it's difficult to navigate, can you even imagine if you don't speak the language and you have no sense of what a referral is, why you would need one? I mean, it's just tricky. So we have these people who guide them, who help them, who go with them until the family can do it all on their own. And that's true with the financial support as well. When a refugee comes, they are typically given about $1,000 per person to get set up, and they have to pay for their airfare that brought them here. I think sometimes people think that they get a free ticket, a free pass here. They sign a promissory note to pay back that flight. And when you get a flight from far off in the world to come to the United States and your flight's in 1 or 2 days, it's not a cheap ticket, you know? So yeah, we have all kinds of people helping. We have people who help with the health side and people who help with the finance side and education, helping getting children enrolled in school. If it's something that needs to be done, we've got volunteers doing that. And things cost money. We also help with immigration process and citizenship process, and it's a lot.
Last question, what have you gained as an American citizen having worked with all these refugees for so many years?
Oh, please.
Well, the answer is neighbors. That's what we've gotten.
Can't beat that, right? That's exactly it. And there's so much going on in the world. It's terrible. You look at the news. It's scary. But you meet these people who are living what we see on the news, who are experiencing that, and you feel like you're making a difference because you are part of that. You know what they're going through. And something I'd like everybody to know about people who come here this way, they've been through some incredibly difficult situation, but their family is still back there. They're still in touch. So if you can imagine what survivor's guilt might be like, or what it's like to talk about people who are being persecuted for no other reason than the people who are here. It's such a hard thing. but you get to know that you make a difference. You get to know that you've done something that made some contribution. Maybe it feels small, but it's big in this family's life, and you're part of the solution.
Beautiful. Well, Blacksburg Refugee Partnership, thank you all so much for being here. Look them up on GiveLocalNRV.org. And I think we need another musical performance by our good friends, the Pine Noodlers at Handmade Music School. And while they're getting set up, any updates on this part? Rob, maybe we could throw the GiveLocalNRV website up on the big screen just so everybody can appreciate the numbers that are coming in.
Well, while they're, Rob's pulling that up, we are at just over
Go for it.
508,000. And part of the excitement of this day, as folks know who are our nonprofit partners, is we're offering $25,000 in grants and prizes this year. And this is because of our generous sponsors. And that includes lead sponsors, National Bank of Blacksburg, who have been a longtime supporter, and a brand new, very generous sponsor, the Cardinal Family Foundation. So when we say this is a community effort, it's corporate folks as well. So we're really grateful.
Awesome. All right. There it is, $509,000. Okay, folks, we're getting closer to justifying this tuxedo. I'm not going to say that if we don't receive $1 million, I'm taking it off on stage. But no. Unless that gets us to the million, I've done a whole lot worse to raise money for a nonprofit. All right. So, but there we go so far. All right, Pine Noodlers, take it away.
I'm going to play a song called June Apple.
Yeah. All right, that's the Pine Noodlers from Handmade Music School in Floyd County. Speaking of Floyd County, please join me in welcoming to the stage our next guest from Plenty Farm and Food Bank, Shannon Hardwick, Executive Director, joined by a friend whose name I don't have here. I apologize. But yeah, please welcome to the stage, everybody. Plenty. Hello. I'm doing great. It's good to see you. All right, so there's a red light here. I don't know if that's... Is red good? Check, check, check. What? Uh-oh. Yes, if I could. Thank you. All right, excellent. There we are. Look at us, like we know what we're doing. Welcome, great to see you.
You too.
Yes, so similar to Blacksburg Refugee Partnership, I imagine these last few months have been a challenging time for food banks. If Congress has its way, there's going to be substantial cuts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. So what can we as a community do to make sure that plenty has plenty?
Awesome. I love that question. I want to introduce Amanda Morgan. This is our vice president of our board. And it has been challenging. When they cut SNAP, our food banks will somewhat become overflooded. Yep. If you think about it, Plenty's a stopgap, so sometimes temporary food assistance. So you have your families living from paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes they just need a little extra help when they have that car repair or that medical bill. So they'll come to places like Plenty. If the SNAP funding is cut, as it's being proposed, that will increase the numbers of food banks easily. What can we do? This is a curable issue. We can eradicate food insecurity. We lack the conviction, not the resources.
Yep.
So what can we do? We can give. You can give money, you can give food. We're even having a drive-through donation tomorrow, 9 to noon. People can just drive through. You don't even have to get out of your car. Bring us a can of soup. Bring us a donation. So many things are birthed because of good nutrition. If you think about all the beautiful things in this world, it's because we have healthy nutrition behind those. Imagine what our children could do if they all had access to healthy nutrition. It'd be beautiful.
Yeah, the fact that we're even having a conversation about whether to feed families who can't afford food is a travesty. Well, what are we raising money for today?
So we are raising for our general operating funds, as well as, we're working to end food insecurities, and we receive wonderful donations by a variety of methods, but we also have to purchase things, such as food. So we are not raising for a specific thing, but more of a general, and then also working for those things that may be coming up in the future due to the increased insecurities.
Yeah. I know food donations are always appreciated.
Sure.
Is money appreciated a little more by a food bank because it gives you have more flexibility in what you need?
Absolutely. If you think about it, we could get pounds and pounds of lettuce. And just so everybody knows, we're moving close to 7,000 pounds of food out of Plenty a week to feed our community.
And about how many families are you serving?
It ranges week to week. So the last count, we serve weekly over 1,500 individuals/families, because one individual, that's their family, right? Versus a family of 8.
And that's just in Floyd County.
That's just in Floyd County, and since 2020, it has increased.
Yeah.
So when we have that flexibility with our funding, let's say we receive a lot of peanut butter. Peanut butter is wonderful, but I'd love to supplement that, for a family so I can give them bread and peanut butter. Now we have a meal. So that's why we have to purchase that food, just to make sure they have that variety. And again, it's all back to that healthy nutrition and access.
Right. All right, well, folks, let's make sure Plenty has plenty, okay? Go to GiveLocalNRV, make a donation, support their great work. Thank you all for being here, and we're going to share your video contribution to GiveLocalNRV as you leave, and we get ready for our next guest, Southwest Virginia Wildlife Center.
Hello, and welcome to Plenty Farm and Food Bank. My name is Shannon Hardwick, and I'm the Executive Director. I want to invite you to participate in our upcoming fundraiser, GiveLocalNRV. GiveLocalNRV is a collaborative effort among the nonprofits in the New River Valley through the Community Foundation of the New River Valley, where nonprofits get together and raise funds for the year.
Okay, well, I only prepared for 2 guests, but apparently we have 4 guests up here with Southwest Virginia Wildlife Center. Let me introduce at least one of the humans whose names I have here, Chester Leonard, who's the Executive Director, and I'll let him introduce his human counterpart and then these other creatures he has with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Next, this is my wife, Cece, who's also on the board for the Wildlife Center, and I'm holding Elf Hiss, who's an eastern king snake. and she has Captain Jack Sparrowhawk, who is an American kestrel and North America's smallest falcon.
Wow. Wow. I mean, live TV, folks. Isn't this not fantastic? All right, yeah, you keep that one over there, though.
Figure you put on a tux, we could bring some props.
Lovely. All right, so can you share with us how these two creatures came into your world?
Yeah, so these two are part of our education department, which we use to teach over 100 in-person programs every year, everything from preschool up to college level classes and even senior homes and everything in between. This guy came to us in another rehab facility down in the Tidewater area. They had him for about 10 years, but he just wasn't getting out very much. So they asked him if we wanted him, and of course we needed a snake, and we used him to help remove the stigma that's so often associated with them. Captain Jack Sparrowhawk here, he was actually illegally kept, and he was surrendered from the Department of Wildlife Resources. And because hawks and falcons will imprint on a human within a couple of days of being fed, he is non-releasable because we are now his food source, and he would never thrive in the wild.
Gotcha. But talk about maybe how many animals you do care for and how they all came into your world.
Yeah, so every year we care for almost 3,000 patients every year. Wow. And that's everything from reptiles here to falcons and turtles, opossums, squirrels, bald eagles, black bears. Right now we actually have 2 bobcat kittens and 2 American beaver kits in our care. And we're the only facility in the state that has bobcats and beavers right now as well.
Fascinating. Wow. You know, we've been hearing about so much human need out there with food insecurity and education and so forth. How difficult is it to get the message out, like why we should care about wildlife as well?
The messaging is always very difficult, but thankfully having guys like this in our arsenal really helps get it out there. But people don't realize that the wildlife in Virginia is actually they're always being threatened. We have a lot of threatened and endangered species here, and they're so often people just don't think about the need that the wildlife actually, the care that they need in this area. Virginia, especially in the Appalachian area here in the Blue Ridge, is actually a wildlife hotspot, and so every life that we can possibly save, we try to do that.
Mm-hmm. And to talk about like how funding goes to you to just support their general upkeep, or is there some like release initiatives is your ultimate goal with these animals to get them back out into nature?
Yes, absolutely. Our goal is to get them in and out the door as fast as possible because we are at capacity right now. We've got about 300 patients we're caring for at the moment. So we every day you never know what's coming through the doors, and our goal, of course, is to get them back out the door and to help establish the healthy wildlife populations in our area.
Are you raising money just for general operating support or any particular program?
It's general operating, but it's also the fact that we spend $150,000 in food each year. We spend $50,000 in medical equipment.
$150,000 in food.
In food alone,
wow.
And $50,000 more in medical costs. It's equipment, supplies, what have you. And again, of course, I also want to mention the bobcats and the beavers we've got right now. The beavers, for example, people don't realize, it's a 2-year rehab. That's how long it's been with their mom in the den. So for us, we get a 2-week-old beaver, that's going to be with us for 2 years.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. And same with the bobcats. Once they get a little older, they'll eat 1 full chicken a day per bobcat. And as you can imagine, the food cost adds up quite a bit.
Gotcha. So any chickens that might happen to come into your care, maybe their release looks a little different from the other animals, I guess.
Well, we only treat the native wildlife, so domestic, they're up for grabs.
Okay. Kidding. Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Did you want to say anything?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Excellent. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for the work that you do. And if you would, everybody, please, maybe you've already made a donation to GiveLocalNRV on behalf of your human community. I think maybe you could go in there and maybe just contribute $10, if nothing else, towards the wildlife community as well, okay? Because we're all in this together. Thank you all so much for being here. And we're going to share their video here on screen as well as we get ready for our next guest. Pardon me. Oh, Seth Davis with the Lyric Theater. Lovely. All right. That was Southwest Virginia Wildlife Center. And this is Seth Davis. Welcome to the Lyric Theater, by the way.
Well, thank you. I've been here a few times.
So Seth is the executive director of the Lyric Council, which operates the Lyric Theater. What a spectacular place. Thank you so much for hosting us today.
Well, thank you. This is so exciting. As soon as Jess and Lindsay and you mentioned the idea of doing this, we were right on board with it. So cool.
And donating all of the space here and the time and the staffing for us all to be here today. So how about a round of applause for the Lyric Theater and Seth Davis. Thank you. For those of us who perhaps have just driven by or been in here before, but don't really know the history of this beautiful space. Sure.
Well, sure. The building that we are in today was opened in April of 1930, so we just celebrated our 95th birthday here at the Lyric. This was actually the fourth incarnation of the Lyric. There was 3 prior to this one as silent movie houses. Okay. This one is kind of special because it was the first air-conditioned building in Blacksburg. And it was just the 3rd theater in the entire state of Virginia to be built specifically for sound motion pictures. So it was a for-profit movie theater through the 80s, closed down for a few years, and then we had some fantastic community members and business leaders that formed the Lyric Council, which is our 501c3 nonprofit. Okay. They raised the money to bring the Lyric back to life, had the grand reopening in April of 1999, and we've been operating since then as a nonprofit film house, music house, theater venue, community space. So we're touching all aspects.
Talk shows.
Talk shows now, that's right.
Okay. Well, it is a spectacular place now, but you are raising money for a particular cause here on GiveLocalNRV, because even though it was renovated and reopened in 1999, perhaps there's some things that need some sprucing up 26 years later?
That is correct. Now, our Give Local today, the fundraiser that we're doing today is for Operation... There we go. Back on. Specifically our children's programming, the community programs, the film series and stuff that we offer throughout the year. But we are in the middle of a capital campaign as well to raise money to do some upgrades. Yes, as you mentioned, reopening in 1999, that's 26 years ago. The seats have certainly lived their best life, and it's time to
replace. A lot of butts in those seats.
That's exactly. A lot of bouncing kids up and down. So we are ready to do some improvements here to make sure that the Lyric is accessible and comfortable for years to come.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much again for having us here today. This is such a spectacular place, and I hope everyone here supports it, not only today, but buy a ticket here when you're going to go see your next movie. Make sure it's here. Your next concert, make sure it's here. So thank you so much, Seth, again, for all that you do. And as we transition to our next guest, there's a lot here, the Giles Community Garden, I want to play 2 of the videos. We've got one from the Fine Arts Center of the New River Valley and Instill Mindfulness. Thank you.
What happens here at the Fine Arts Center for the NRV isn't just about making art.
It's about giving people, kids, adults, anyone, the chance to create, to connect, and feel proud of what they've made.
From concerts to exhibits, classes, community events, and more. It's all part of creating a connected community. That's why I support the Fine Arts Center, and that's why I'm asking you to join me during Give Local NRV. This is what community looks like. Your support makes it all possible.
Hi, Instill Mindfulness is all about cultivating a mindful world for all, and we do that in many ways. This Give Local, we're really focusing on our work in Pulaski, where we're doing really important peer work, helping people with substance use disorder, homelessness, and many other issues.
Okay, that was Instill Mindfulness and the Fine Arts Center of the New River Valley, and this is the Giles Community Gardens, Charlie Herbert, the founder.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Some applause, it's been a while, there we go. All right, here's a softball question, but I mean, we have Kroger,
okay.
We've got Food Lion.
That's right.
We've even got farmers markets.
That's right.
Why do we need a community garden?
Well, because basically what we do is we teach children and adults how to garden. In the long term, that's going to be one of those things that's going to be necessary for survival, sometimes more so than other.
Yeah, right.
And as a matter of fact, I just left camp where we had 22 children between the ages of 2 and 12 running around all over the place, planting marigolds and companion planting today for the plants that they were already put in the ground, the tomatoes and some of the other vegetables that we put in the garden.
You got to get those marigolds out to keep the deer away from
That's
the tomato
exactly
plants,
right.
right?
Yeah, marigolds, zinnias, and basil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we hire those people out to our personal homes? If
I
we're
would
trying
love to
get...
say that we could, but I've already we work right across the street from the courthouse, and the lawyers and the judges are already well aware of all the child abuse that I'm performing in the garden.
Little child labor laws?
Child labor, I've been reminded about those frequently.
Gotcha. Well, share with you, so you have the community garden, but do you have like individual plots available for
Well,
rent?
actually, we're raising money this year to help refund the building of raised beds that we put in the garden. We have an open garden that's 40 by 40, but like everything else in Giles County, it's full of rock and on the side of a hill.
Sure.
And so the soil that we've amended at the top of the garden over the last 12 years is now at the bottom of the garden. So we went back to basics and built raised beds to cover the whole thing. And it's also good because little feet can't trample all the plants that we've already put in the ground, which is one of those ongoing problems that we have there too.
Where does the produce that you grow in the community garden, where does it ultimately end up?
We're very blessed with a large number of volunteers and people that are still coming to us to learn how to garden. One of our favorite feeder programs is the Master Gardener program. They are taught everything academically they need to know about gardening, and then they're sent to me to learn how to garden.
Okay.
So I've got a couple of them again this summer, along with some other community volunteers. I'm one of the best kept secrets in Giles County.
You personally or the nonprofit?
Yes. Okay. Me, unfortunately, no anymore.
Well, you know, that's what we hear so much with my TV show Buzz. We hear so much from nonprofits who say, oh, we're the best kept secret of this, that, or the other. And we don't want you to be the best kept secret.
Oh, I know.
We want everybody to know about the work that you do. So I'm really thrilled that we have events. I think that's one of the blessings of Give Local NRV Day is that you're able to have this wider exposure to a community to learn more about your work.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate this time. And I love my sisters in the Community Foundation. They're really near and dear to my heart, and the work that they do is amazing to me. So we appreciate this opportunity to be here.
Indeed. Brava. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. You're raising money today specifically for?
Our operations and rebuilding our garden the way that we've got it to this point, and helping to fund next summer's camp. I've got two amazing partners with Korean Clinic and the Virginia Tech Extension Service. But we always need help to be able. Today we had many different vegetables that the children were taste testing. A lot of that went into compost. A lot of that went back into their stomachs. So they eat well when they come to camp.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Good luck. Make sure that you go to the Giles Community Garden on their Give Local NRV page and make a contribution. Speaking of Give Local NRV, do we have any updates that we need to share at this time?
We need to share mics though. So we just passed $511,000, and I just want to highlight Springhouse. They are closing in on $500 donors just themselves, which is quite extraordinary. So we're cheering them on, and with the noon having just passed us, we have our first Power Hour winner. So an extra $500 goes to the Floyd Center for the Arts for the most number of unique donors, unduplicated donors during the hour. So we're really excited for them. They're doing great work out there.
Okay, as we get ready for our next guest, which will be Cardinal News, I want to play a couple more videos, one from the Montgomery County Chamber and from the Roanoke Blacksburg Innovation Alliance.
I'm with the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce Foundation, whose mission is to provide support for the charitable, educational, and scientific undertakings of the Chamber and its members. By participating in Give Local, we continue and expand vital programs and initiatives such as ACE, the Teacher of the Year Fund, Job Shadow Day, the Mary T. Tuttle Scholarship, the Sharon Scott Leadership and Business Endowment, CTE Signing Day, Women's Leadership Conference Scholarships, and more. For more information, visit montgomerycc.org.
Hey there, Suzanne from the Roanoke Blacksburg Innovation Alliance checking in. We're a nonprofit organization serving the New River Valley and beyond, providing events, networking, and wraparound supports to the tech and biotech ecosystem. We're here tonight with our Technology Council serving up a great session titled AI Decoded. We rely heavily on our partnerships within the NRV community like the CRC, Virginia Tech, and Q Cowork. in order to deliver great programming like AI Decoded. We're participating in GiveLocalNRV with the Community Foundation, and we're asking for your support. You can support our mission by visiting GiveLocalNRV.org.
All right, and if you would please help me welcome to the stage here Tad Dickens, who is the technology reporter for Cardinal News.
Thanks. Thank you.
Tad may not be.
If I could start out by saying, I see you quite a bit around, and you usually look pretty well put together, but you were incredibly spiffy today.
Again, it's all for money.
This is next level right
Well,
here.
I appreciate that. So you may not be used to being on the receiving end of questions, so so get ready. Can you handle the truth?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll see. All right, so thank you for being here, and thanks so much for all the work that Cardinal News does. It is what started in 2021, I believe.
September 2021, so we're going on 4 years.
Yeah, so why is it necessary?
I think there are a couple of things to look at. One is sort of the shrinkage or closing of a lot of newspapers in the region, and the other thing is the need for people to get free news. We don't have a paywall. We've never had a paywall, so we rely on donations from individual folks and businesses, and that helps us keep it paywall free, so you can always look at Cardinal without having to pay for what's a lot of important news going around the region.
Yeah. So Cardinal News, for those who may not know, obviously you're here today because you are a nonprofit. So much of the decline and shrinkage of the news industry has been because so many of those entities are for-profit, and they have had ad revenues shrink over with the dawning of the internet. They've had subscriptions decline and yada, yada, yada. So, but the nonprofit space is where a lot of news organizations are thriving right now. And so we're really grateful that Cardinal News, which covers Southwest Virginia, South Side Virginia, over the last 4 years has seen such huge growth in the number of reporters and editors. Talk about that growth real quick.
Well, it all started when Lou Ann Rife, who is our executive chief at Cardinal, got together with some folks in the community that expressed an interest in seeing something like this happen. She was a deeply experienced journalist, used to work at the Roanoke Times. I worked there as well. She and I knew each other from back then, and she pretty much grew this thing along with a very early adopter, Dwayne Yancey, who joined up. He was the first person to join as an editor and writer. He was
my editor at the Roanoke Times way back in the late 90s.
And mine.
Yeah, right.
Yep. You and I used to, a little trivia, Michael Hemphill and I used to sit right next to each other at the Roanoke Times years ago.
And here we are again.
Here we are,
Yeah, but now, how many reporters and editors are there?
I think there are 9 or 10 reporters and a couple of copy editors, two editors, an executive and a managing editor. Dwayne Yancey is the founding editor, and so he gets his hands in too. And then we have folks dealing with the development side of it, and
it's incredible.
It's a growing team.
Yeah. You're the technology reporter. Correct. What has been the most, surprising technology thing that you have learned about our region since you started the beat?
I would say the most surprising to me is how much innovation is happening right under our noses. I think one of the things that we may hear more about in the near future is from a company called Tiny Cargo that uses exosomes from cow's milk in hopes of eventually scaling up to transport therapeutics for everything from radiation treatment to heart attack therapy, and it's all just this microscopic deal that they're working on. And there are all kinds of businesses like that that are starting to spring up around here.
Yeah, and the Tiny Cargo folks, they all have Virginia Tech connections. They all spun out of the Fralin Biomedical Research Institute in Roanoke. And yeah, all started right here, homegrown business that's going to be huge one day. So what are y'all specifically raising money for today? General operating, or is there a trip for you to the Bahamas? What's the cause today?
Basically, we're raising money for me to get a bow tie with those bees on it. I like that thing.
I will happily make that happen for you.
Just everything, basically. I think the key things, what we stress the most is for people to be able to read the news without hitting a paywall or without having a story limit. If you can't afford to subscribe to something, that doesn't mean that you should not get the information that's out there. So that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, so make a donation to Cardinal News. Go to cardinalnews.org and subscribe to their newsletter. A phenomenal, I would say it's the preeminent news source for Southwest and South Central, Southside Virginia. So thank you so much for being here. We've got our next musical guest up on stage ready to go. That's the Montgomery Junior Appalachian Musicians, or MJAM, and I know, given your musical background, being in a band, you would love to be over there with them.
Well, they could do without me. I might have a washboard or spoons or something. Thanks for having us.
Awesome.
Michael.
Yeah, thank you. All right, MJAM, take it away. Thanks, man. All right. Thank you, MJAM, the Montgomery Junior Appalachian Musicians. And joining me here on stage is the program director, Jason Dilge. Dilge. Thank you. Haven't we all? And the Montgomery Museum of Art and History's Sherry Jones Wyatt, who's the executive director.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you all so much for being here. Now, I'd like to have, if we could start with Jason, if I may. I just want you to share the kind of the full vision and mission of JAM.
Yeah, so JAM was established in 2000 down in Sparta, North Carolina, as a way to provide students with opportunities to learn about Appalachian culture and engage in the music community in our region. And since its rather humble beginnings in Sparta, we're now in 7 states with more than 60 affiliates. And so what you see happening here in Montgomery County is just a piece of a much bigger community that's carrying on our musical traditions and dance traditions.
When I recognized a familiar face on stage, Tim Thornton, who also a former Roanoke Times reporter with me, and I mentioned you rely on volunteers and instructors to help teach these kids.
Absolutely. We rely on volunteers for a lot of things. Our instructors are actually paid as artists to come and work with the kids. We also have other visiting artists that come along with us, but our volunteers, Liza Thomas, who is with us playing bass today, volunteers and teaches bass in our program. We have other volunteers that teach instruments as well, but also we have volunteers that help us plan events and carry out events and bring snacks for kids and do all kinds of great things for us. So volunteer support is definitely very important for us.
Wonderful. And Sherry, at the Montgomery Museum, how did this partnership come be? Because you're not necessarily all about teaching kids how to play music, but how does this fit in with your mission as the Montgomery Museum?
Well, it's really a perfect fit because the Montgomery Museum of Art and History is about the combination of those two things, art and history. Mm-hmm. And so what better example of that than the Appalachian music that we all have that shared heritage of here. And so the museum's proud to be the fiscal agent and host for MJAM. It's just one of our programs, but we're really thankful to be doing that.
Your museum, by the way, is spectacular.
Thank you.
Way back in the day, we would go there, to go to the bank, because it was the former Wells Fargo Bank in Christiansburg. But I got the opportunity to visit there, I think when we were doing our Give Local NRV Buzz episode a couple of years ago, and I went in for the first time in years. It is so beautiful, the work that y'all have done. So thank you so much for preserving our history. You also do, we mentioned earlier in the show about the Christiansburg Institute, and I know y'all do a lot of work with the Christiansburg Institute to help promote the full history of Montgomery County, which sometimes we try to whitewash.
Sure, yes. We're so fortunate to be in the former Bank of Christiansburg on Town Square in Christiansburg, our county seat, and we serve all of Montgomery County and the New River Valley. And we're really proud of the work that we have done with CI. The storyboard project, which was about African American history, is right outside our door. And it was not the case when that project started, but it was a wonderful thing that happened when we moved. And so there's African American storyboards. We're a joint project, and that's one of the things that we really are proud of.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful work. So both of your organizations, I believe, are participating in Give Local NRV Day, so please go on to Montgomery Junior Appalachian Musicians, as well as the Montgomery Museum of, just Montgomery Museum of Art and History. Thank you. Go and support both of these great organizations. Thank y'all for being here. And why don't we get a quick little check-in with our good friends over here at Command Central for the Give Local NRV Day. Jess?
Okay, so overall, we're at $516,000 and counting. There's a little bit of like an after-lunch lull, so I feel like we need to kind of pick up the pace a little bit. Also, we were talking earlier about all the work that goes into this, and there's quite a bit of it with marketing, time that we put into training. So the Community Foundation raises money as well for the Giving Day, and we raise money for the Fund for the NRV, which is also on the Giving Day website. If you go and just search Fund for the NRV, it is the engine that powers Give Local NRV and all the work that we do and really everything at the Community Foundation. So I hope you'll take a look at that as well.
Yeah, so go and just see all the 121 different nonprofits, including the Community Foundation of the New River Valley, raising funds today with the GiveLocalNRV.org. So thank you all so much. Thank you for being here. And as we transition to our next guest, from the Inmate Family Assistance of the New River Valley, I do want to share another video from Havenwood Equestrian Center.
At Havenwood Equestrian Center, our students build responsibility as they learn daily horse care like grooming and mucking out. In riding lessons, they start as beginners and grow in confidence, learning to trot, canter, and even jump. They set academic goals and get tutoring during homework time each week. With consistent mentorship, they gain life skills, confidence, and direction for a brighter future. During Give Local NRV, help us give more teens a place to grow and keep this life-changing program running strong.
All right, that was the Havenwood Equestrian Center. Applause, thank you. Did we get enough applause for MJAM, by the way? I don't know if we did. We are going to hear from them again here in just a few minutes. But thank y'all so much. And now with me here from the Inmate Family Assistance of the New River Valley, we have the director and founder, I believe, Deanna Cox, along with Eli Brown. And so, Deanna, I was hoping you might just share the story about why you started this nonprofit.
I'd be happy to. Thanks for having us today. Our story really started with my son Eli, who, through some adventures of his own, ended up incarcerated in some of our local and regional jails. And it was through that experience that he was able to communicate to us that there are a lot of families that are unable to stay in touch. You know, when you go to jail, you don't have a cell phone, you don't have any way to keep in touch with your family, and you have to pay for those costs. And that happens by your family putting money on your account. And after his incarceration in Central Virginia Regional Jail, he had told us that there were a lot of families that can't afford that, and the inmates never got to talk to their loved ones, which might include moms and dads and children. So it was based on our joint experience and his giving us that knowledge that I decided that there might be something we could do to help.
Yeah.
And so that's how we came to be in 2020.
2020. Okay. Eli, would you mind maybe just sharing with us, what would you like people to know about, someone who is incarcerated?
I guess I would say that if you're able to maintain contact with a positive support system like your family while you're incarcerated, that can oftentimes be one of the very first tools that can be implemented in someone recovering or not reoffending. And it also takes a lot of the stress off of the families as well in doing that. So I guess that's it.
Yeah. Well, and more just about like you individually. I think sometimes, unfortunately, we as a society see someone who is incarcerated as basically having committed this lifelong sin rather than just, I made a mistake, I was rash, I was young, I was intoxicated, I just made a bad choice.
Of course.
Should it haunt you for the rest of your life?
No, I don't believe that it should haunt you. Obviously, some of people's actions, my own, have consequences. Bearing through it is the best thing you could possibly do. You should not have to bear it for the rest of your life. It will be difficult at first, but it's definitely worth just trekking on through it and keeping your head up.
Yeah. I assume you've served your time. You're
Yes.
not here unauthorized, right?
Thankfully,
Okay,
yes.
Good. Yeah, what does life look like right now?
Right now I have my own house to live in. I am self-employed. I have not committed a crime in over 2 years or used drugs and alcohol for over 2 years. So actually everything has turned a new leaf for me and life is really good.
Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you for sharing that. How important, lastly, was the services of a nonprofit like Inmate Family Services? How important was that to your successful reintegration?
It was probably, like I said, the first step in the right direction for me was not having my positive support system entirely removed from my life.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're in a bad situation as it is, so for me, it was just instrumental that I was able to keep in contact with them. I knew they weren't as worried knowing that I was okay, and I was able to kind of ease myself into what I was needing to do next with their advice, which was pretty crucial. So,
yeah. You got a great mom.
Yes, I do.
You're still, though, inspired. I guess even though he's out and successfully, reintegrated, you're still inspired to continue this work.
Absolutely, because he wasn't the first, he's not the last person who's made a mistake that's found themselves in jail that needs family support. And I just feel like from the letters we get from families and inmates, I feel like we're making a pretty good impact. And so as long as we can continue to raise money and help those people out, then we're doing that. And we're doing that primarily with the Montgomery County Jail at this point.
About how much money do you think you would need for a typical inmate over the course of a month or a year?
Well, our program for eligible inmates, and the jail has an eligibility program, they double check for us. We give an inmate $40 a month. Okay. If they're eligible, and they can reapply as long as they're there, but they go in and out of eligibility, so they may not get the $40 every month. But that's basically over the course of a year, then it would be 40 times 12 would be the total amount that we would need for an inmate.
And that money again would go towards?
That goes towards telephone costs. It also goes, they have to buy their own hygiene items and supplemental food.
Gotcha.
So they can use it for any of those purposes.
Wait, I'm sorry, telephone calls, that's pretty ridiculous. Yeah. But anyway, it's there, you got to navigate it. Right. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And if you're raising money today for a particular cause or just general operations?
Just general operations. Right. The majority of our funds go to direct aid to the families. So.
Inmate Family Assistance of the New River Valley, folks. Please go to GiveLocalNRV, find out more about the great work they're doing. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your willingness to share your story.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right. As we transition to the new River Conservancy, I want to play another video, this time from Disability Resource Center, or DRC.
Hi, welcome to the Disability Resource Center. My name's Cassie. How can I help you?
Hey, what do you all do here?
So we help people who have disabilities stay living independently in their homes and communities.
And during the Give Local NRV Giving Day, what are you all raising money for?
We're really raising money to expand our services and help build more ramps, walk-in showers, build our peer support groups, and maintain our independent living skills trainings.
All right. That was the Disability Resource Center. This is Andrew Downs, who's the Executive Director of the New River Conservancy. Andrew, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
With that, are we on?
Hello, hello. Welcome and hello.
I don't think that. Does that sound on there? Oh, we got another red light.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do we need to share a microphone now? We can share for now. Oh, we're good. We're back. We're back. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Testing, thank you. Hey, thanks for having me.
Good to have you here. Share with us, New River Conservancy, share with us just the mission itself and how long you've been around.
Sure, well, how long we've been around is kind of the exciting part. So we are dedicated to preserving the woods, waters, and wildlife of the New River Valley. We've been around for 50 years. This is our 50th anniversary this year.
All right, 50 years.
Pretty good number, solid number. Thanks everybody.
Founded, I guess, in 1975, if my math is correct.
There you go, very impressive.
But
we've been really focused as of late on Helene recovery. That's still an ongoing challenge for everybody who loves the New River. And so one of the reasons I'm here today is just to talk about the great work we've done since Helene and the work left ahead to protect the river we all love and name most things after in the area.
Well, so how did Helene impact the New River?
I mean, it can't be overstated, honestly. It was, I mean, from the headwaters down in North Carolina all the way through Claytor Lake and up all the way through Virginia, it was, cataclysmic. I mean, everybody lived it, and it was something that we as a society, as a culture here, will remember for decades and decades. So it's something that we've been working on quite a bit since Helene. Volunteers and staff of the New River Conservancy have pulled 55 tons of trash and debris out of the river, and we've really found our niche in that stuff that requires a person to go out there and remove. So not something you could bring in heavy machinery for, but something that you got to go out, which is often more challenging.
Well, what has been the most challenging thing that you have found out in the New River that you've been able to get rid of?
Well, that's a good question. So we're working on a work day at New River Trail State Park down at Foster Falls.
Yep.
And there was this like flatbed trailer that was in the river, and I kept imagining my little girls on their kayaks coming down a rapid and hitting and getting tangled in that thing. So we brought a winch over to an island, winched it out of the river, and then we got it about halfway up. It kind of got hung on something. We didn't know what it was, and so had to dive down and look at it. And it was a residential fuse box and about 50 foot of residential wiring that was all tangled up. So cut that apart and pulled all that out, and that's just one thing, one day. I mean, there have been a bunch of instances like that. I will say, there's been an incredible amount of work done. So the river is ready for recreation and ready to welcome you, but that doesn't sort of downplay the work that's left ahead.
Well, do you have a price tag on like just what that one extraction cost New River Conservancy?
Every volunteer day, volunteers are outstanding, but to empower them in a way where they can really get work done and feel like they're making a difference takes money and time and planning and resources.
Equipment.
So, about $2,500 per trip, per volunteer work day, and we have one coming up this Saturday in Montgomery County. Okay. But it's about $2,500 per trip, and we've been doing dozens and dozens of those since Helene.
Wow. Thank you for doing this. Are you raising money particular cause today, or just like for a work day, or just?
Yeah, so we had to essentially double our volunteer efforts after Helene, our efforts supporting volunteerism on the new. So here's raising money to support those volunteer cleanups that are happening throughout and always happen, even outside of Helene. We had one cleanup just over the border in West Virginia last year that pulled 93 tires out of the river in one day. So this is stuff we continue to do. We're doubling our efforts. So I'm asking everybody to donate to support our volunteer programs, but also if you love the new, it's our 50th anniversary, become a member, because that's the sort of lifelong gift that the river gives all of us. It's a great way to give back.
Wow. Thank you so much for being here. Folks, real quick, think about all the nonprofits we have heard from just today. I mean, we've got environmental, we've got music, we've got food pantries, we've got history, we've got arts and culture, wildlife. I mean, so many different causes that the nonprofit community is engaged in. That's what I love about nonprofits so much, is that they literally do everything. Can you imagine our society without nonprofit organizations? Because, you know, government, as much as we might want government to do these things, they're just not. And so we rely on the great work that you guys are doing. Thank you so much. Go to GiveLocalNRV, and whatever you might be seeing in, lower income taxes over the coming year, if tax cuts go through, make up for it by supporting organizations through GiveLocalNRV. All right, that's my political plug today. Most likely, I'll stop after that. Okay, thank you for being here. As we transition to Mountain Valor Veteran Services, I would like to play one more video, this one on Brock Hughes Medical.
At Brock Hughes Medical Center, healthcare is a right, not a privilege.
We're a nonprofit clinic providing quality, compassionate care to Wythe and Blaine counties, regardless of insurance or income, and we have been doing so since 1995.
From checkups to chronic care to medication assistance, diabetes classes, and medical transportation assistance, we are here for our patients and the community.
We need you to continue doing what we do. Please join us in building a healthier future, one patient at a time.
Okay, that was Brock Hughes Medical. This is Kat Wittenberger, who is the Executive Director of Mountain Valor Veteran Services. Welcome.
Thank you. They work. All right.
You're on. We haven't had applause in a while. Can we get some applause, please? Thank y'all. Now, I've been in the New River Valley for 25 years now, so I've been familiar. I've heard of all the other nonprofits that we have featured here today. I've not heard about Mountain Valor Veteran Services.
That's because we're only a year old.
Okay, good. I thought I'd been paying attention. But what does it do?
So we focus on empowering veterans and their families across all of rural Virginia. And we started because we realized the deficit in education and knowledge of benefits, and then how confusing it can be to access those benefits. In fact, one of the things that we would like to do is invite you to our main event. So September 13th at Crooked Mountain Campground in Floyd, we have Mountain Valor Fest, and this will be our second year of doing it. And we kind of founded after we decided to do this event. So it started as a 9/11 remembrance, and for those that we lost during the global war on terror, and because a whole lot of us lost friends in that war. And we think it's the right thing to do to make sure that we don't ever forget them.
Yeah.
And then we decided to add resources on. So last year we had about 30 resources. This year we have 50 veteran resources coming out. Including food banks, including some of the other, like the NRV Disability Center, things that you don't necessarily think of as a veteran resource, but they are. They're just not utilized kind of as much as they could be. And then live music, food trucks, there's gonna be baby goats, all sorts of fun stuff, and some military displays. But the big thing is connection and making sure our veterans don't feel alone.
You're a veteran.
Yes, sir.
Would you mind sharing about your service?
Sure. I served in the Navy for 21 years. I retired about 3.5 years ago. Moved to Floyd based on hiking there once and said, it's beautiful, that's it, we're going there.
Okay. That was it. You hiked there once and you moved from where to Floyd?
We retired out of Rhode Island.
Okay.
It was a drive.
All right. Well, I think we're pretty lucky to have you here.
Thank you.
Why is it so challenging for veterans to navigate post-service life?
Identity. So, up until the day I retired, I was my rank, I was my job. Being a mom had to come third to that. The person walking up to you, based on what they're wearing, I can tell you how they apply to me, right? So I can see their job specialty. I can tell you about how long they've been in service. I can tell you where they've served based on their ribbons. There's this immediate knowledge of where you fit in the complex. And then you get out. And you don't have that. And you don't have someone that's going to come to your desk and be like, you didn't get your flu shot, so I'm going to stab you right now as you're sitting at your desk, which did happen to me twice because I didn't want to go. So the sense of kind of being forced to take care of yourself, it's not there anymore. And it's freeing, but also there's not what you're used to, which is someone chasing you around and being like, no, you have to fill out this paperwork. No, you have to be at this place. If you don't do it, you get in trouble.
Wow. Well, then, so it's challenging personally, but then it seems as though you're also addressing some systemic issues or shortcomings to help veterans, successfully, kind of like we were just talking about inmate family services. I mean, you're kind of leaving this, I don't want to compare that to prison, but it's a very structured environment, and now you're entering.
We used to compare deployment to prison, so don't feel bad.
But what are the systemic shortcomings and why are they there?
That's exactly what we work on. So we're kind of a network provider. So sometimes we get someone who reaches out and it's a quick email and they just need to know who is the right person to contact for this need.
Yeah.
And that's simple. It's usually a community resource, not a veteran resource. And then we get folks that we hear about, they came home from Vietnam. They weren't eligible for anything because when those guys came home, they were told no to everything. Well, they are eligible for health care now, and they are eligible for all sorts of benefits now, but they didn't go back, and why would they? They were told no, the door was slammed in their face, they were treated poorly. And so now they're end of life, they need a lot of support, and we're kind of the ones that are like, I know what they said, but I need you to go back and do this form one more time, and they're gonna give you a different answer this time, and if they don't, I know who to call to get that fixed. So we're kind of the buffer to make sure it doesn't go the same way that it did the first time.
Wonderful. Well, Kat Winberger with Mountain Valor Veteran Services, thank you so much. And we always say when we meet a veteran, oh, thank you for your service. Well, let's put that into practice. Let's actually contribute to these causes. Let's support their work so that it's truly appreciated, all right? Everybody, don't just give a lip service. Let's support them through organizations, through the GiveLocalNRV. Thank you so much for your working on. And to find out more about your work, obviously there's the Mountain Valor Fest on September 13th. Is there a website that people could go to as well?
There is. It's mtnvalor.org. You can find out about everything that we do, and then if you need help, you can reach us through that as well.
Wonderful. Kat, thank you so much for being here today. All right, and with that, thank you. We're going to bring back our guests here, the Montgomery Junior Appalachian Musicians, for another song. Thank you.
We're now going to play a song called John Henry.
All right, Montgomery Junior Appalachian Musicians, M-Jam. Find out more about them through the GiveLocalNRV.org site. Make a contribution to support their great work. We have one more guest here for our Buzz Live, but before we get them up on stage, so eager, always so eager. One of my favorite episodes that we ever produced on Buzz features this organization. Well, sorry. Yeah, because it includes one of my favorite interviews that we ever did, and it just, once again, when we went into this episode on literacy volunteers at that time of the New River Valley, I was thinking, well, how are we going to make this interesting? It's reading. How are we going to make this episode interesting at all? But then we started meeting the people that literacy volunteers of the New River Valley and now Literacy NRV, some of the people that they serve. And one of them was this very special woman who happened to be there with her mother, who didn't speak English. Her mother had immigrated from Mexico many years ago. But we had them both here in the office, and we interviewed them, and it remains one of my favorite moments of our 5 years of making these Buzz episodes. So, Rob, take it away.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Today, though, Literacy Volunteers strives to meet the larger demand from immigrants who are seeking a better life in a foreign country with a strange language. People like Norma Garcia, who journeyed from Mexico in 2009.
I used to say, I'm sorry, my English is not too good, but I will do my best. But now I'm like, I speak English, how can I help you? I talk too much, and I have to take advantage of that. And I know lots of people, lots of Latinos, that they don't speak any English, even if they're here for about maybe 20, 30 years. And I feel amazing the way I can just be the bridge for them to communicate to others. So whatever you need me to help you out, I will do, like lawyers, immigration lawyers, criminal lawyers, family lawyers, civil lawyers, maybe social service. Even if you need to go to the dentist, I can help you with that.
So advanced is her English now. In 2022, Norma started her own translation business, Language Solutions.
I would say I'm not really proud yet, and actually I told my mom, this is not me, this is you, because you worked so hard for me to be here now, because if it was for me, I might not be here. But it was my mom who always pushed me and told me that you better than that, you can do better. Without literacy volunteers, I will be flipping burgers, which is nothing wrong with that job, but I want something better for my life. And I love the way when sometimes I translate in jail, they open the doors for me.
Bastante, no cabe.
I'm very proud of her. I cannot explain how proud I am.
Could you try?
¿Usted puede expresarlo?
Sí. Así es.
Just like that.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Okay, we're a mess up here. I've seen that 50 times, and every time it just is so beautiful. So, welcome, my good friends. All right, let me introduce these folks here. For Literacy Volunteers, Literacy NRV, we have the Executive Director, Jenny Ayers, and Brittany Hash, the Volunteer Coordinator. Welcome. Applause, please. Yeah, every time.
Can I give a quick follow-up to that story? Now that you've met Norma, I was homesick earlier this week. Norma brought in her whole family to sing, I'm going to cry, Happy Birthday in Spanish to me, and it was sent to me in a video, and then we talked on the phone, and the community that we have there is incredible.
I want to get to the community in a moment, but for those who maybe are just learning about Literacy NRV, talk about all the different classes that you offer to get someone who comes here perhaps not speaking any English to full literacy.
Sure, and we have many types of literacy, but specifically for our English language literacy program, we have one-to-one tutoring. Actually, let me step back. We start with a one-on-one intake meeting, and so our staff meets with that learner to assess their needs, assess their current skill levels, check on travel, do they have barriers, that kind of thing. And so based on that, they'll either be assigned to a class, and we have classes all over the New River Valley that are multi-level learner classes, and then if they can't fit into that class, they'll be assigned to a one-on-one tutor or a small group. And we also have conversation groups online. Yeah, any way we can meet the need for them, we'll do.
And then you have particular classes like to help navigate healthcare literacy or digital literacy. What else?
So we do have a financial literacy program. We have programs that we focus on healthcare. You know, so many individuals, whether they are new to the States or they've grown up here their entire lives, are unaware of the patient rights. They're unaware of your right to ask questions and things like that. And so, or they're aware of those rights but don't have the confidence. Yeah. So we have classes based on that. We also, for this coming fall, I'm really excited, we have what we're calling Computers in Espanol. So a lot of students need basic computer skills for work or for keeping up with their children's things in the school system, right? And if we hold off on those programs until their English is proficient, then that could be years of time that they're losing on resources and the ability to just navigate life. We also have programs for just basic computer skills for English speakers. We are currently putting together a citizenship class for the fall. We currently do that one-to-one, so a tutor and a student, but we're going to do a class for that. We also have a GED program and basic reading and basic math.
And so much of it hinges on your volunteer support network. How many volunteers do you have part of Literacy NRV, and how many more do you need?
Yeah, so we actually have seen a really great increase in the last fiscal year, which we are so thankful for. Currently, we have 189 active volunteers for this year, which is amazing and actually is really necessary because we just broke a huge student record. So last year, we had broken a record of 350 students, and this morning we were at 461 students.
Wow, wow, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And speaking of the students, so I know initially when it was founded, the organization, you were serving primarily native-born domestic, helping people who perhaps fell through the educational cracks through the years and just needed help as adults trying to become better readers and navigators of the English language. But now, what percentage would you say are immigrants and refugees?
I love numbers, can you tell?
Okay.
So currently our student body of 261 students is 92.3% ESOL students. So 92% of our students are learning English as a second language.
Okay.
And so our GED program is about 3%, and then the rest kind of fills in those other gaps.
Gotcha.
And we actually don't, that is serving the learners who come to us. I don't think that's a reflection of the need in our community.
Yeah.
There's still a gap with those basic literacy adults that need us coming to us for the services.
What have y'all learned from your students? I know they learn a lot from you guys, but what have y'all learned from them?
I have seen, we all have, and now we just cry all the time. Happy tears usually. It's such an inspiration to watch somebody overcome things in their past that I can't imagine. We work closely with Blacksburg Refugee Partnership, and so much like the families they serve, a lot of ours have faced those hardships. But also, I made an assumption that we all have access to the same resources. For example, public school is free and you're required to go. We have one student whose parents did not allow her to go to school, and so there's barriers put in place for people that they didn't choose, and sometimes life happens. Most of our GED students are not there because they weren't able to graduate high school intellectually. It was life circumstances that have created these barriers, and so I've just kind of seen that, and with the volunteers that we have that are also incredible and inspirational, watching two adults sit side by side and excuse me, and just walk together on this journey to achieve somebody's lifelong goals, it's incredible.
Yeah. And two adults who would have never met each other without your organization. Right. That's pretty special.
Yeah, and I'll actually share, we had a volunteer come in to see us recently. She's been volunteering with us for over a year now. She's a go-getter, let me tell you. She actually initially came to us because she had been to eat at a Mexican restaurant, and she said, they don't know English, they want to learn English, I'll teach them there if you let me and give me the resources. And she has just, she now is running a support group for Hispanic women who just need a community around them, need to share resources, but she recently stopped in to pick up more resources from the office, and 2025 has been rough on this volunteer physically, her health, and she literally said to us, working with these ladies has saved my life. I would not have made it through the last 6 months if I didn't have them. And so, yes, our students are why we do what we do, and our volunteers are how we do what we do, but both are so beneficial to the other.
Yeah, yeah. Last question. Oh, y'all are getting me. 2025, I think, has been rough on a lot of people. And when we think about, especially how our country is responding to and treating immigrants and refugees right now, and y'all work almost exclusively with that population, what do you want people to know about the immigrants and refugees whom you are in contact with every single day?
Hardworking, generous, kind, holding each other up, holding our children and our community together, and just wanting to be a part of it. They're coming to us to learn English, to better serve their own children in school, to be able to communicate with the teachers and make sure that their children are on the right track. They want to get a better job. A student I'm working with is in behind the scenes in dining services. She wants a better job for herself and for her daughter, and I just think to see barriers put in place, to see fear. We have had students drop out of classes, which we understand. We've changed some of our policies and things to do what we can, but yeah, it's been.
I think too, to give maybe a broader but also semi-specific example of who these students are as human beings. I currently have a 17-month-old daughter, and I very often walk away from situations with these students hoping that one day my daughter grows up to be like them. The characteristics that they have, they're amazing human beings. Yeah.
Sounds like people we would want in this country.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much for all the work that you do. You can support them as volunteers with your money through GiveLocalNRV.org. And with that, we are at an end of our show, but I think we do want to get a quick update from Command Central over here from the fine folks at the Community Foundation on how we are doing so far. So let me pass the microphone back over here. Lindsay.
It's been a great 2 hours. More than $30,000 has been raised since we've all been sitting here, which is pretty exciting. And you'll see throughout the day different ebbs and flows. There's certain hours where there's different prizes. You'll see a lot of donations. So it's just fun to watch. One thing I want to mention is if you want to make today an all-day experience, not only can you keep giving every hour, but there's plenty of events going on throughout the New River Valley. There's in-person events. Literacy Volunteers is going to have one, an open house, so head to the website for a list of that. And tonight is the region's first ever drone show put on by the YMCA at Virginia Tech. That's going to be at Blacksburg High School. The doors are opening a little after 7, but the show itself, doors are at 7:30, and the light show begins at 9:15. So check it out. It's free. It's going to be awesome. So go out and support folks in person. Thank you all for being here.
There we are. Excellent. Thank you all so much for hosting this phenomenal day. Thank you all who are here in person at the Lyric Theater, but also those tuning in to our live stream on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for being here. We hope that you will go to GiveLocalNRV.org. We just started this day at 12 noon, and we're already at $521,000, okay? My goal, not their goal, but my goal is for us to be at $1 million by noon tomorrow, okay? So go support these great organizations. We have done it before, almost reaching that goal. I know we can do it this year. Thank you to the 121 different nonprofits. I do want to make an announcement about the video winner. that we, for the, I think, 13 different nonprofits who submitted videos. I am going to award it to the Fine Arts Center of the New River Valley for producing a spectacular video that was engaging, but also, a little tip here, it mentioned Give Local NRV Day, and some of the video submissions did not make it specific to this particular day. So I really appreciated that effort. And so we are going to contact them. We're going to bring Buzz Live to the Fine Arts Center of the New River Valley sometime in the coming months. And that is made possible through the generosity of the Community Foundation of the New River Valley. This show now will be, you can watch it in its entirety on our Facebook or YouTube channels, and I would encourage everyone here to please share it on your channels so that more people over the next now 22 hours can find out about it in the hopes that they will want to support Give Local NRV. Thank you all so much again for being here. Keep giving to GiveLocalNRV.org, and we will see you back here next time, perhaps. Keep being a buzz for good in the community you hold dear. Bye now.